Friends, welcome back. Today is a follow-up to episode 66, where I discussed a program that I was using at the time, Calendar to Sheets. What the program did is exactly what I needed it to do. It was pulling my Google Calendar events into a spreadsheet so that I could see and plan and share my schedule more easily. I was really happy using it. But the reason that I created this follow-up is because when the company had trouble prorating my license, like they had offered to do for me, I asked them to cancel my plan with them so that I could purchase the yearly subscription, which was a better deal. And they did do that for me. But before I signed up again with the annual subscription option, I hesitated because I wondered, is there a more economical way to do this? So instead of immediately signing up with them, I opened up ChatGPT and asked a simple question. Is there a program like Calendar to Sheets, but cheaper? Now, I expected to get a list solely of alternative apps, but instead I got a somewhat different answer. It did give me options for other subscriptions, but rather than only pointing me to another subscription, ChatGPT suggested something that I hadn't considered. What if you don't need another tool at all? So basically, ChatGPT explained that tools like Calendar to Sheets are essentially automation layers. They're very convenient, but it's not always necessary to purchase them. In fact, ChatGPT offered me an alternative. I could use a script inside of Google Sheets to pull in my calendar data without using or without subscribing to an external app. Now, I will be honest, this is where I almost stopped. I really liked the free option, but I'm not a coder. I don't write scripts. That's not how I usually solve my problems. But I figured that maybe I would at least inquire further with ChatGPT to see if this is something that I could easily do. And ChatGPT did something that made all the difference to me. It wrote the script for me and walked me through exactly how to implement it, because I was not sure of that process either. And the process ended up feeling surprisingly simple. Basically, I was able to create a Google Sheet, and I added the column headers that I generally utilize, which is a title, a start time, an end time, a description of the event, and then the location. Then I basically just opened up the app's script within Google Docs, and ChatGPT pointed me where to paste in the script that it provided, and then it told me to test it by selecting Run. And that was it. No deep technical setup, no complicated configuration, just a few clicks and a few clear steps, and my sheet actually filled with my calendar events. I thought at the time when it happened, wow, this actually works. I did it with the help of ChatGPT, of course. But naturally, it wasn't completely smooth. The first time I ran the script, I did get an error message. It said, cannot read properties of null reading clear contents. Huh? I had no idea how to troubleshoot that prompt. So that, again, almost stopped me from moving forward. It was a very technical message, did not provide me with appropriate context on how I could even begin troubleshooting that. So I didn't know where to begin. But before giving up, I went back to ChatGPT and shared the error. And instead of giving me a vague explanation and telling me to go and explore solutions myself, it translated the problem into something simple. It basically explained that the script was looking for a sheet named calendar export, and mine did not yet have that name. Well, that was an easy fix. I can obviously rename a sheet in the workbook. And in this case, that was it. Once I fixed the name to how ChatGPT directed me to, the script ran perfectly. Well, sort of. The script did successfully run and give me the data for the events for my next 30 days. But in my case, I only specifically wanted to look at next month's entire schedule. So I didn't want the next 30 days. I really wanted just a snapshot from the next month so that I could then organize and send my upcoming events. So in this case, the data that it provided wasn't exactly what I wanted, even though it was successful in what it did produce. So at first, I assumed that I had done something wrong again. But because ChatGPT had been so helpful, I went back and ChatGPT explained that nothing was broken. The script was simply set by default to pull the next 30 days, not the next full calendar month. It's obviously a small detail, but in my circumstance, it made a big difference. But again, thanks to ChatGPT, it made the fix very straightforward. It showed me how to adjust the script so that it would start on the first day of the next month and end on the last day of the next month. I basically just had to update a few lines, run the script again, and voila, everything was there. A complete view of next month's schedule, exactly what I wanted and needed. It was perfect and it was free. And honestly, this whole process took me at most 10 minutes to complete. So for me, as a freelancer, I'm constantly managing and adjusting my schedule. I often run recurring trainings and then one-off trainings. Sessions switch around, and I need to ensure that I have this data available in multiple formats. So having my calendar data in a spreadsheet gives me a completely different level of visibility than it does within my Google Calendar. And honestly, I like both views because that calendar view shows me visually if there are any gaps in my day, if I'm running things back to back, if I have a really long training, if I have a really short training. It's a visual, so I like that. But I also like the spreadsheet option where I can sort by day and sort by time and have everything a little more linear. Now, again, this lets me see everything at once. I can spot patterns, I can plan more intentionally, and I can make quicker decisions about my availability when people ask me, are you available on this date and time? So while this may seem like a small change to you in the format of going from a calendar view to a spreadsheet view, for me, it is just a huge improvement in how I work. It's really imperative that I have both views. So all in all, yes, I replaced a paid tool with a free solution. That made this whole experience worthwhile. I've got to admit, it also gave me a sense of personal satisfaction to feel like I easily did something that I would have thought maybe was out of my skill set previously. So again, I was just thrilled. I didn't need to learn how to code. I didn't need to build something difficult from scratch or spend hours troubleshooting. All I needed to do was ask the right question. So it does go back to your prompting and making sure that you're being articulate enough to get the appropriate responses to what you're looking for. And then I just followed the steps and made a couple small adjustments. In this case, ChatGPT acted less like a tool and more like a guide for me. It helped me move from an idea to a solution without getting stuck in all the technical details. So, looking back at the process, I just started out trying to solve a simple problem. I didn't anticipate the solution that it would give me, but I'm very happy with it. Finding a cheaper version of a tool that I already liked, in this case, a free version of a tool that I already liked, was wonderful. I ended up with a customized solution, a very clean workflow, and most importantly, a reminder that sometimes the best option isn't another tool, it's a different way of thinking about the problem. And again, it all started with that simple question that I'm really glad that I asked. So thanks so much for watching. I hope this was helpful to you. Please like and subscribe to support the channel if this is something that benefited you, and if you would like to receive more notifications when I add content. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye.